Hello, everybody. My name is David Ogidi, and I'm from Reach Relevance. In the next 20 minutes or so, it's going to be my pleasure to be presenting together with Özgür Doğan from Hepsiburada. How many people here shop on Hepsiburada? Quick show of hands. It's what we expected. As the market leader, many people shop on Hepsiburada's site. So in terms of Rich Relevance, we have been in the marketplace here in Turkey for the last 1 year or so. And we are in a partnership together with Obes, who are here. And I'd encourage you to come and visit us upstairs, where we have a stand together with Obes. I'm thrilled that Hepsiburada is the first customer that we have here in Turkey. In terms of the background of Rich Relevance itself as a business, in a way, we're retailers that turned into solutions providers for other retailers. Our founder, David Selinger, was the vice president for and development at Amazon.com. And essentially what he did was he took a huge volume of data and used that to innovate a new opportunity for them, which was personalized product recommendations, both on the website and in channels such as email. When he left, he found that other big companies wanted to be like Amazon. And so what he did was he created our company in 2006. And the first two customers that he got were Walmart and Sears. And so now coming into Turkey and working together with Hepsiburada, it continues the theme of Rich Relevance entering into markets and working with the most innovative and typically the largest retailers in that marketplace. I've been with the company since 2009, and when we started in the UK, our first 3 customers were Marks & Spencer, John Lewis, and Dixon's Group. So we're thrilled that that continuity now continues. So in terms of personalized product recommendations, that is now a very small part of omni-channel personalization. Personalization can now include 3 different dimensions. First, from a functionality point of view, ranging from full merchandising personalization through to personalizing search and browse and content. On another axis, everybody now recognizes that the shopper goes to different places in engaging with the merchant. On mobile devices, in email, on the call center. It makes sense for retailers to use the data that they're gathering in real time, personalize the experience for the shopper where they are. And then the third dimension now for innovative retailers is being able to call the functionality and the data that they're gathering and using that in the applications that they themselves create, so that the solution becomes a platform for innovating new applications. So let me now turn over to Özgür, who is going to talk about Hepsiburada's journey in personalization. Özgür.
Thank you, David. Herkese merhaba. Hi, everyone. I'll be doing my presentation in English. Hopefully, that won't be an issue for our Turkish guests. But I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Hepsiburada, and what we'll talk about in a little bit is really our journey, our personalization journey that we started with Rich Relevance. So obviously, a lot of our Turkish guests will know all these, but just for our international guests, we're the leading e-commerce company in Turkey. The company was founded in 1998 with only 100,000 TL capital in a small apartment, and then since then it's grown rapidly. Over the last 10 years, we've grown 25 times, and the company continues to grow very rapidly in a lot of different areas. One of the things that we're really proud of is we were recently recognized as one of the fastest growing e-commerce companies in Europe. So let's start. Why personalization, right? So why are we even talking about this topic? The answer is because we want to make more money for the business. That's really the answer. But as you sort of dig deeper, there are a couple different reasons that stand out. The first one is we all enjoy the personal touch, right? When we go into a restaurant, we like the fact that the server knows our name, knows our favorite table, knows our favorite drink, those kinds of things. Increases customer engagement. It sort of allows users to spend more time on the site. It increases conversions, right? So when a new mom comes to Hepsi's website, she's more likely to be interested in diapers and wet wipes than snow tires or drills. So that actually increases the sales for us. And finally, one of the key things for us, it increases loyalty and repeat purchases. So those are some of the key reasons that, that stand out. At Hepsiburada, we conduct surveys with our customers. The purpose is to understand what the shopping drivers are. This is actually results from a recent survey that we did. And we asked the customers the key purchase drivers, why they're shopping Hepsiburada. The results were quite surprising, especially what was in the third bucket. They basically said personalized recommendations was one of the key reasons why they were shopping Hepsiburada, why they were shopping online. And it was ranked ahead of campaigns and promotions, right? I mean, we're all campaign-oriented and promotion-oriented, and we do it ourselves as well at Hepsi, but the reality is the users really enjoy the personalized recommendations that, that are presented to them. David mentioned that a little bit, but for us, personalization is not a project with a start date and an end date. It's actually a journey. We think we've come a long way over the last couple of months in terms of what we've done. But at the same time, we also realize we have a long way to go to realize the full potential of personalization. So let me sort of talk a little bit about where the journey started and what we've done. So this was our site before we actually started personalization. So this is our old site, storefront, so to speak. There was zero customization, one size fits all. Everybody was seeing the same thing. I circled particularly two products here. One is a gold piece, and the other one is pet food, right? And so we're showing the same products to everyone that came to Hepsiburada website, 18 million visitors. And obviously, you sort of question the relevancy, right? I mean, how many people will buy gold pieces from us? How many people will buy pet food from us unless they have pets? So we sort of then looked at some of the implementation of personalization, and there were a couple challenges that we were facing, and I want to go through them real quickly because these are key considerations that should be paid attention to as you think about personalization. The first question for us was in-house versus outsource, right? I mean, obviously, we have a big technology team, and we thought about maybe we can do it ourselves. But here, we decided to go the outsource route because there's a lot of IP built in personalization engines like Rich Relevance. It's an algorithm business, and the accuracy of those algorithms and the way the big data gets used is really, these are not easy things to do. So we obviously realized that Rich Relevance has a lot of experience in this area. What we did is, we're very numbers-oriented at Hepsiburada. We did A/B testing using randomization. So we basically tested 3 different providers head-to-head over a 3-month period. And we wanted to see the results. At the end, we created a business case. Personalization is not a tactical project, right? So what we wanted to do here is we wanted to make sure that the board understands the business case because it's a journey and they need to realize the potential, the value, and also the investment needed to make it happen. And then the final consideration for us was we wanted to have a tool that is customizable, right? So I basically, as I'm building personalization at Hepsiburada, I want to make sure that it's not easily replicated by our competitors. So And this is where the ability to integrate our own analytic models come into play. This was a key requirement for us. And as a matter of fact, we eliminated a provider that was a black box and that didn't allow us to do customization. So, rapid transformation approach, I like to show this picture because this sort of reflects the culture of Hepsiburada. This is one of our meetings, actually, a snapshot from our meetings where you have sort of the chairwoman, the general manager, the project team working together to make it happen. And this is how we're able to go really fast with the implementation of the project. So we decided to go with rich relevance, and a couple of things here that I want to highlight. What we sort of wanted to do here is use a cross-channel approach because a lot of our users use the mobile site, they use smartphones, they use tablets, they use laptops, and from that perspective, we wanted to make sure that the solution is seamless and it's consistent across all these platforms. So that was critical for us. And if you access Hepsiburada, you'll see it. You'll see the personalized recommendations across all the platforms. And if you're logged in, the system will realize it's the same user, irrespective of which platform you're using. The last thing that I want to mention here is advanced merchandising, because even though this is driven by models and big data and algorithms, complex algorithms, we also wanted to make sure that we have the ability to push certain brands and certain products, and that's where the advanced merchandising comes into play. So if we have a partnership with one of our key strategic partners, we have the ability to push their products. We're not really totally overriding the recommendations, but we're boosting the products that we have from suppliers that we have a partnership with. So this is sort of one of the example, and I want to go through the user flow real quick. So here, a new visitor clicks on a relevant offer on our site. In this case, it's sort of like a fashion ad. And then they browse through the recommended items, but they don't purchase. And next time when they come to our site, what they'll see is recommended products based on their browsing behavior from the last session. So this is a very simplistic example, but I wanted to make sure that it sort of comes to life here. The other piece that's important for us, like I said, is the orchestration across platforms, because we don't really care if the user if our customers are using smartphones and tablets or laptops. We want to make sure we're providing them a consistent experience. So here, another example is they search on the mobile site. They look at one of our phones, and then they go to the website, and they actually purchase using personalized recommendations. This is another use case. They purchase a phone from us. And then in the third step, they access Hepsiburada using a tablet. And what the user is being presented is accessories, right? So add-on products that they can purchase to complement the phone that they just purchased. So these are a couple different use cases that I wanted to show how it's sort of, again, to bring it to life. And then this is an advanced merchandising example where the customer is looking at sort of a fashion, at the fashion category, at one of the items that we have there, actually a pair of pants. And then what they see is two sets of recommendations. One is people that looked at this also looked at that, basically similar items, similar products. And then at the bottom, you see the complementary products, to complement the pants that they're looking at. And here, it's an advanced merchandising because, as you sort of notice, the brand here is Roman, and what we're doing is we're really pushing that Roman brand to the fore and creating more visibility for it. So let's talk about results, just to kind of wrap things up. I'm keeping an eye on the time here. We don't have a lot of time left. One is we measure attributable sales. What that really means is a user clicked on a recommendation, and then they looked at the product, they add it to the basket, and they purchase the product, right? I mean, that's what we call attributable sales. Here, what we see is majority actually comes from the desktop side. It's not a big surprise because desktop is really the primary conversion channel for us for e-commerce. But there's also, what you see is 29% of the conversions come through the app, our applications, and then 9% come through the mobile site. And then this is sort of really the, I would say, the money slide where we sort of have the real impact of personalization. What we saw it from our implementation is currently 8 to 10% of our revenue actually comes from recommendation engine, and it's 10 to 13% of overall orders, right? You can argue it's not all incremental, but at the same time, we've done a lot of testing, A/B testing, and we know majority of this is actually incremental lift that we would not have otherwise captured from the visitors that come to our site. And then at the bottom, what you see is engaged users. Engaged users, the way we define it is users that actually clicked on a recommendation. Doesn't necessarily mean that they purchased the product, but since recommendation engine also increases the engagement, it increases the conversion. By basically, customers end up spending more time on the Hepsiburada site because they like what they see. It's all relevant, right? But one of the key also findings here for us was the higher conversion rate, which is 2 to 4x conversion rate. Basically, what we're seeing is users that engage with these recommendations, with these product recommendations, they convert 2 to 4 times higher than the non-engaged users. So that's also one of the key things that we saw. All right. So with actually, this is one of my final slides here. What I wanted to do is also sort of wrap it up with what's next for us. As you remember, for us, this is a journey. This is not a project. So there's really not a set end date. We want to push this as far as we can, as long as we're seeing good return coming to Hepsiburada. One of the things we're working on is incorporating more data, and this is incorporating more product data, as well as more customer data, as well as environmental data, right? So there are a lot of things, like weather, for example, that actually impact shopping behaviors. When it rains, people tend to buy more raincoats, right? And when it's hot, people tend to buy more air conditioners. So those are some of the data points that we're experimenting with to see if we can actually increase the relevancy of the personalization engine. Sort, personalizing sort is another key application, which is really the products that you see on the category page. And then finally, banners, right? Why do we have to show the same banner to all the users that come to our site? We're also looking at applications where we can potentially change the banners and the campaigns that we're showing to a customer, depending on their profile. So those are some of the things that we're currently working on. And that wraps up our presentation. Thank you for listening.